Price too low and sold out? Or price too high and thinking that you're earning more nightly revenue because your rate is high, even though you're not fully booked? In today's video, we're going to talk about the dangers of setting your price too high or too low. I'll walk you through my signature framework for understanding pricing and occupancy to show you how to earn more revenue consistently. If your understanding about pricing is a bit more advanced, then feel free to skip the first part of this video to the part where I talk about what happens in the middle of the graph, because that part will easily put more money in your pocket. Welcome to another episode of Airbnb Uncovered. I'm Matt, the creator of AirbnbUncovered.com and Airbnb Superhost. On this channel, I uncover some of the best kept hosting secrets, as well as share with you everything that I've ever learned after hosting over 3,000 guests. My tips, tricks, and best practices are all focused on helping new hosts earn more revenue, attract the best guests, and achieve Superhost status faster. So if you're new to hosting on Airbnb, this is the right channel for you. There are basically two dominant theories out there on pricing. So it's either price lowish and fill up your nights well in advance to guarantee the revenue, or price highish to earn a higher nightly rate and minimize the wear and tear because your occupancy is lower. These two theories can also be extended to the length of stay, because often a lower rate is associated with a longer stay, while generally a higher rate commands shorter stays. To help you uncover the truth behind these theories, I'm going to put on my former CPA designation and MBA hats and explain. Do you price low to fill up your nights, or do you hold your prices firm and accept a lower occupancy rate? Let me know in the comments below. While there are pros and cons to each of the two theories, in this video I want to share with you my signature framework for how I set prices during both the good times and the global illness. By using this framework, you'll be able to understand both the costs of pricing too low and being fully booked, and the lost opportunity of being priced too high but earning a high nightly rate. The reason we get lost opportunity while running our Airbnb business is because the service we sell, accommodation, it's perishable. Once the night goes by, we've lost the ability to make money from that night. And you can contrast this against selling a good, like say a t-shirt. You don't really lose the opportunity to make money as time goes on with a t-shirt, because the profit sold from a t-shirt is there from the time you put it up for sale until the time it's sold. But once a night goes by and your Airbnb is unbooked, there's no way to make up that lost revenue. So let's get into explaining the two dominant theories of pricing on Airbnb. On the screen right now is a chart. On the left side is revenue, and along the bottom is market conditions. The market conditions vary from in the tank, or a slow market on the left side, and all the way to a once-in-a-lifetime market on the right. And by market conditions, I mean how many guests are looking for accommodation in your local area. This can also be called demand. There are three lines along the chart. All three lines consider revenue
at different pricing levels, low, medium, high,
in the different market conditions. The first line, the gold one, represents revenue if you price your listing on the low side of the market. You'll notice that on the left side, the gold line is diagonal until it reaches a point here where it goes flat and stays that way as the market improves. This is because once the market conditions move past recovery, you'll no longer be able to earn anymore because all of your nights will be sold out at that price. The second line, the blue one here, represents what happens across different market conditions if you keep your prices high. This line is diagonal as market conditions improve from left to right,
And so does the occupancy, and thus you get higher revenues. So up here at the top, you're looking at over $5,000. Of course, this line would flatten too, but the chart wouldn't fit on the screen, and the likelihood of being priced that high and selling out requires more than a once in a lifetime market condition. Imagine, for instance, earning $1,000 a night for a bachelor apartment. It's probably not going to happen. The last line, this pink one, represents what happens if you price somewhere in the middle. So it's diagonal until market conditions improve. But just like the gold line, the one with the lower price, the pink line turns flat as occupancy reaches 100%, as your price is too low for market conditions and you become booked up. Now let me walk you through the specifics of this chart. If you're priced low and the market is in the tank, you'll achieve a higher occupancy, and in this example, you'd earn just under $2,500 a month. If you price high during the same slow market, the result will be low occupancy and really low revenues. And in this example, it would be about $1,500 a month. And as you can see, this is lower. The blue line is much lower than the gold line. Conversely, if the market is hot and you are priced high, you would earn $5,000 a month, which is more than just over the $2,500 you would earn if you had priced on the low side. While this probably sounds intuitive for most, because what we're talking about is the very extreme edges of the market, where the outcomes seem obvious. But I felt I needed to explain myself to make my main point make sense. And the main point of this video is for you to consider what happens in the area created on the chart where all three lines cross. So this area here. This area represents the lost revenue from pricing too high and too low. Notice how the area isn't that big. In fact, using this example, it only represents $516, which may not sound like a lot of money, but over a year, it's just over $6,000. And expressed as a percentage, it's a nearly 20% increase in revenue if you're pricing using the high pricing strategy. This blue line is the high pricing strategy, and if you followed our middle line, our more reasonable line, you would have earned 20% more revenue if the market is between slow and strong. The fact that this area is so small is likely where you get the argument that being priced higher and being booked just slightly less earns more than if you had priced mid-range with higher occupancy, which of course is the pink line. Because the amount of lost revenue from being overpriced broken into days isn't that many days. In the high price scenario, I used a rate of $150 for weeknights and $225 for weekends. So $516, which is the amount that this area represents, is only 3.5 weeknights, or roughly one weekend. Many of us, myself included, tend to generalize and approximate numbers in our heads, and we tell ourselves things like, oh, one vacant weekend isn't the end of the world, or it's just a couple weeknights lost. No biggie. But since the costs of running an Airbnb are largely fixed and unchanged based on whether we're booked or not, every dollar that we earn over our fixed operating costs goes into our pockets as profit. So ignoring an extra
$500.
a month or $6,000 a year, well, that's a big deal.
At this point, those in favor of a lower occupancy for a higher price due to the reduced maintenance and operational costs should consider three factors. First, your biggest variable cost, the cleaning fee, should be fully covered by charging it directly to your guests. So this is negligible, and it doesn't play into the opportunity cost that you could be earning for more money. Second, the incremental costs of extra electricity, heating, and cooling while you're hosting a guest will be a tiny fraction of the additional revenue you earn by pricing in a more middle ground. And thirdly, the increased wear and tear. You're already going to have wear and tear by hosting guests in the first place. Adding a few more nights booked is not going to wildly change your maintenance requirements. You're going to have to repaint high traffic areas every so often anyway. So because you're hosting more nights, you maybe have to do it a few months early. The additional revenue you're earning should cover the small incremental costs of painting early. Remember, it's unfair to attribute the entire paint job to hosting a few more guests because you're going to have to do it anyways. The main takeaway from my explanation of my signature pricing framework is for you to understand the importance of perishability in our hosting business. A vacant night lost is a big deal when you consider the money that you're leaving on the table from being priced too high. Conversely, setting your prices too low to simply fill up your calendar isn't the most optimal point either. Setting a price that will see your calendar book up at a price that meets the market demand will always earn you more money than leaving your prices high and then accepting a lower number of bookings. This video was a bit more technical than most that I normally do, and if you want to see more videos like this one, please give me a thumbs up or rate it highly if you're asked. Technical or not, my videos are all focused on helping new hosts earn more and get to superhost status faster. I hope that you'll check out my other videos, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and then click on the notification bell to know when I post a new video. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you'll join me next week when I go over another tip, trick, or best practice. Bye for now.